If you want it, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
And we're back with another installment of Highly Unoffended, where you're thinking it, we're going to say it, we're going to give you that nice sensation like a Q-tip in your ear. Once again, we're back today. Beautiful day today, nice and sunny outside. It's that time of the year. We're back at around hard and heavy. Summertime gets a little, scarce. Nobody's around, but we're back today. Once again, like always, we're sponsored by Number Juan Tequila. If you're not number one, you're number two. And who wants to be number two? I'm your host, Jim G. We got an old friend of mine who used to work security many moons ago. Good Lord. Ain't nobody getting younger. Ain't nobody a bottle of scotch getting better, huh, Dave?
That's right.
So we got Dave P in the house. And I gave Dave P already props, but I got to do it on air. Dave P is on the other side of where we normally stand, where we stand on this show. But nobody from the other side will ever come to this here. And, they're keyboard gangsters. They're keyboard cowboys. They want to type shit. And, my mother always says, my mother used to say when I was a kid, if you're going to throw the rock, don't hide your hand. Mm. And that's where we are today. So Dave had some concerns, and a couple of weeks back, and the plot thickened last week, right? The plot thickened in your social circle.
That's right.
And so we're going to talk about stuff today. And welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you for having me, JG.
Dave, where'd you grow up at?
I am originally I was born in Newark, New Jersey, and grew up in Maplewood, New Jersey, which is like a suburb of Newark, about right over the bridge from New York City. And then been in Connecticut since 1988, 87, somewhere around that range. Yeah.
Cool.
But Jersey boy at heart, but been in Connecticut for a long time.
All right, your family man.
Yep, married, 2 kids.
How long you been married, Dave?
1991, so 33 years. Yeah.
Ooh.
A veteran of my,
of the marriage.
Yeah,
Very good. Your political views, have they always been the same, or have they morphed over the years or anything? Anything ever changed, or anything ever kept you on track with your political?
Pretty much I've been, always pretty liberal in some things and conservative in others. I think, most people, tend to, be politically in the middle, so to speak. I think, without getting too political.
Go ahead. Yeah. We agree with some and not everything.
Yeah. I think most people.
I think we dabble in all that.
Yeah, most people are in the middle. Like, I know, some people, I am, I believe in the death penalty in terms of if the crime fits,
Wow, that's heavy shit coming from your view. That's
that's what I'm saying. I'm liberal on some things and conservative on others. But when it comes to, for people that know, like those 2 dudes in Cheshire, death penalty, when you have other mitigating factors, it's a kid, he's 13, he didn't know the gun went off or whatever. I mean, that can be debated, but when it's something that's a heinous crime, like that poor family that was killed in Cheshire, I believe in death penalty for people like that.
That's a heavy statement, because usually, cats on that side, oh my God, kumbaya,
right.
Fucking no.
Right.
And it just seems like a lot of these cats are living in a utopia.
That's right.
And they think it's all, it's all good, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And to quote my dad said that the liberal side, he goes, they want to eat a steak, but nobody wants to take the cow to slaughter.
There you go.
They want to think that steak came in the styrofoam and cellophane.
Exactly.
And he goes, somebody slaughtered that fucking cow.
That's right. That's right.
And he goes, you got to kill it before you grill it.
That's right.
And he goes, he used to just say, he goes, these cats want to eat a steak, but
Right.
nobody wants to talk about.
That's right.
How's the steak going to get to my plate?
That's right. And I also don't like when people say, "Oh, I'm against the death penalty." A lot of times people are against the death penalty until it happens to them. But I look at it as like when I watch a lot of these true crime shows, and and I put myself in the place of those people, and I just hate when people only give an opinion on something when it directly affects their family, so I'm like, hey, if you do
now where you grew up,
yes.
correction, hood, nice, what?
Well, Newark would be similar, to inner city,
carjacking capital of the U.S.
Exactly,
chop shop capital of the fucking North America.
Well, it's funny you say that because when I first got in insurance, I've always been in workers' comp, but this desk I took over, this woman, she handled auto, and I'll never forget, she had this sheet that had the top 20 cities in the country that were the worst places for car theft. And in the top 10, about 5 or 6 of them surrounded the town I grew up in. East Orange, Irvington, Newark. So my town, Maplewood, is sort of, I compare it, it's almost like a West Hartford, like a suburban.
All right, so that's where you get this aside from. Okay,
that's right. That's right.
I come from the South Bronx. I don't have it in me. You know what I mean? I tell people to air out my family, business.
Right.
When we lived in the Bronx,
mm-hmm.
when we went shopping,
yes.
my mother used to take money, put it in my pockets and my brother's, and my mother would keep $1 in her pocket in case we got mugged.
Wow.
So that was us in the Bronx.
Gotcha.
So when people say, what made you this way?
Yes.
Well, bitch, this is what made me this way.
Right. I hear you.
Because, you would walk down the stairs of the building where dudes sniffing glue in bags,
mm-hmm.
doing heroin. And I tell people, I go, dude, this is just shit that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
And, dope fiends coming up to my mom and shit,
right,
selling them food stamps
right.
and shit like that.
Right.
So I said, I am where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And being from a third world country,
mm-hmm.
and we were instilled with a environmental awareness that made for me being in law enforcement and security
mm-hmm.
simple for me.
Sure.
Because we weren't raised to walk around with our head up our ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like these kids now got their face in a screen
right.
97% of the day, or they got headphones all day.
Right.
And they're playing pokey fag or whatever they're doing on these phones,
mm-hmm.
tic-tacking and all that other shit.
Right.
But they don't, a fucking wolf could walk up on them and,
mm-hmm.
they'd be like, oh, look what's here.
Right.
So we weren't, so I guess that's what guided me the way I was brought up and the way I am till now.
Yeah, understood.
And that's why I asked you, where you're from. So you saw this sheet, you saw all the stolen cars. What's the most stolen car in the U.S. today?
I'd probably say because most popular with me the Honda Accord.
It used to be.
Now
it's the Scat Pack, the Dodges.
Really?
Those things are so fucking fast, Dave.
Huh.
Those things are just there.
Wow.
Dude, Dodge with that, the Chargers and them Scat Packs, them Demons.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, those things are the hot. It used to be the Hondas and Toyotas.
Right.
Because, they're so run amok. And, they go to body shops and body shops want fenders and bumpers for them and motors and transies for them. Yeah, right now it's the Dodges, bro.
Well, you talk about car thefts. Like I said, my dad, he had, he always liked the big cars. He had a Lincoln Continental that was stolen.
What year?
4 times,
What year?
I don't remember because I was a kid. So it was in the 70s. But what would always happen, they break his ignition, they steal his 8-tracks, and then that was like really before Chop Shop.
They're stealing his
So they
Teddy
would just
Pendergrass
joyride it.
8-tracks.
They take his
They're
8-tracks.
They're stealing his Teddy P Pendergrasses.
That's right.
Come over to my place. They're stealing his Teddy P.
That's right.
Teddy P.
That's right. The Delphonics and all
You
that,
know?
and then they'd find it.
Did it have suicide doors?
I can't remember.
If it did, it was late. It was late 60s. If it had
Yeah.
regular doors, it was 70s.
Yeah, I think it was regular.
My favorite Lincoln Continental to 64.
Oh,
With the
okay.
suicide doors is so
Okay.
damn. They call them the sleds.
Okay.
They call them the sleds. Oh, those things are. Ugh.
Yeah,
So sexy.
his coolest car was he had a Cadillac Eldorado. That was sweet.
Nice.
That was sweet.
No Broham for him.
Nah, never had a Broham.
You know, brothers love the Brohams, man. I remember growing up, man. You saw a Broham, you know a brother was pushing it.
That's right.
You knew a brother, you know, the motherfucker. He thought he was super fly in that bitch.
That's right.
You know, he had the boomerang
Right.
in the back. Don't talk to me, son. There it is. So Dave,
Yes.
touch you back. You made the thing about banning books.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, are you hip to that reverend that goes around and talks about the banning of the books?
No.
There's a reverend that I follow, and you know he's really against a lot of these books that are in the middle schools
Mhm.
for the kids, talking about
Mhm.
blowjobs,
Right.
anal sex, and all. And
That's
he
right.
just got arrested last week.
Uh,
He got arrested because they asked him to leave. He's like, "What? I'm talking,"
right.
and they clicked him up
Huh.
on some bullshit.
Okay.
And because he's just saying, he goes, "What educational purpose do these have in a middle school library? It's
Mhm.
pornography.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
pornography, man.
Right.
I don't give a shit how you shape it up. Come on, man.
Mhm.
That's like fucking reading the Hustler letters,
Mhm.
bitch. You're not old enough to know about it. Go find out. You see, my boy Dave didn't blink. I said Hustler letters, and he went, because why? Because that brother knows. See, he ain't acting like, what's that? What's Hustler letters? See, my man did in front. I'll give it to him. He ain't even blink. Because why? Because if you know, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah, but I'm not for banning books. You know.
even if they got that kind of stuff in our schools,
Well, we've dealt with that, and there's some things that are age appropriate, and so there was one book in particular that, matter of fact, we had to deal with that was inappropriate, and it ended up being taken out of the I think it was at either the high school or the middle school. So yeah. I mean, for the most part, I believe in freedom of speech, and I don't believe in banning books. But books should be age appropriate, like you said. You know, and when it gets into the pornographic and stuff like that.
I think let a kid be a kid, man.
Right.
You know, just there's too much indoctrinating
Mm-hmm.
in nowadays.
Right.
And I have a lot of clients of mine who have taken their kids out of school
Oh.
because they're not comfy. You go to a school now,
Mm-hmm.
there's no little old ladies teaching.
Right.
You go to a school now, you got a kid teaching who worked at Forever 21 or fucking Spencer's 5 years ago with 3 colors in their hair and metal in their face.
Mm-hmm.
There's no little old ladies.
That's true.
And like I have one of my clients, he's a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
and him and his wife, both UConn grads,
Mm-hmm.
and they pulled their kids out.
Mhm.
And I asked her, she's crazy cool,
Mm-hmm.
and I know she listens. So shout out, she knows I'm talking about her. And she kind of blew me away one day,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and I asked her, I said, hey, you know, why'd you pull the kids out of school? She goes, I don't want my kids learning that shit,
Okay.
that gay shit. She goes,
Right.
I'm not on it.
Oh.
And she goes, Jimmy, you got to understand one thing. Gay people call us breeders because we make kids.
Mm.
But guess what? Since they're not breeders, guess what they are?
Mm.
Recruiters.
Mm.
And they try to indoctrinate these kids to bring them over to their side because that's the only way that they make their gang bigger.
Mm.
He goes, you guys, we make our gangs bigger by having children.
Mm.
He goes,
Okay.
they can't, or they got to go adopt. But she goes, that's why they're recruiters.
Mm.
And when she said that, I was like, oh shit.
Mm.
It made sense to me.
Mm.
That's why these guys are such on a recruiting band.
Mm.
And that's why, you know what I mean? There's no reason for that
Mm.
in school because it ain't on an SAT.
Mm.
It ain't helping you get into college.
Right, right.
So when your kid comes home woke,
Mm-hmm.
you wonder where this agenda's coming from. And being retired law enforcement, a million of my friends work in these school security,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell me, they're like, "Oh, dude, it's so woke, and if you say anything against it, you're the bad guy now."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How you feel about that?
Well, my thing is, because for example, there was a book that had, what some people consider pornographic, but I always have a problem when people don't have a problem when they show heterosexual sexual things, but all of a sudden, if it's a homosexual thing, all of a sudden now there's a problem. You didn't have a problem if there were books that showed heterosexual sexual things. If something's inappropriate, it's inappropriate. And so from that standpoint, like I said, there was this one, I can't remember the name of the book, but a lot of people had issues with it because it was showing a woman having sexual relations with another woman. And there's other books that have those type of themes with a man and a woman, but no one had an issue with those.
Because that's how it's supposed to go down.
Well, yeah, that's what.
See what I'm saying?
Right. That's what people would say. But I'm one of those. Be who you want to be.
I tell everybody, dude. I worked at 3 gay bars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you knew me. I was bartending, bouncing.
Yes.
I worked at 3 gay establishments,
Mhm.
bro. I don't give a shit. I just pour your liquor.
Right.
You know what I mean? I met a ton of cool people.
Yes.
But it's the grooming that giving me a problem nowadays when you're messing with young kids.
Okay.
Why do you got to bring in a drag queen to read a book?
Mm.
Why can't you just have the teacher on the payroll read the book?
Mm.
Is this drag queen bringing in some super over-the-top educational purpose?
Mm.
And are they gonna enlighten these kids into something?
Mm.
No, man.
Mhm.
It's not there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I just think that everything's being so pacified,
Mm.
and and somewhere these cats got an ear. They got to listen to it, and it was the Obama gave them the biggest ear,
Mhm.
and he let them roll with it,
Right.
and whatever. And I know now when you speak against it, you know what I mean. A kid that we grew up with, in our projects,
Mhm.
he was a black dude.
Yeah.
He was stabbed by his gay lover 32 times here in town, a couple blocks over.
Okay.
I went to his funeral. I cried like a fucking punk.
Sure.
I cried like a fucking punk at his
Mhm.
funeral.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck anybody want to say something.
Right.
He grew up with us.
Right.
He was the gay motherfucker on our block.
Sure.
He was, I used to tease him. I was like, man, even your dog is gay, rough.
Mm.
And he used to kill me. But the last time I ran into him,
Mm-hmm.
me and my man went to a concert and we ran into him at the diner and I was all hammered up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to hook me up with one of his girls and shit. He was
Mhm.
hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
And but he got stabbed 32 times by
Wow.
his jealous lover.
Mm.
And I went to the funeral, like I said, man, I cried like a fucking punk because
Mhm.
we grew up with this kid, and you know what I mean. He was the gay dude from our block.
Sure.
And most of us grew up, eventually knowing, yeah, he the gay
Mhm.
motherfucker from the block,
Right.
and that was that.
Mhm.
Whatever. Nobody. It was no big deal.
Right. Right.
And he was just the gay dude. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And but that was many moons ago when people were black,
Right.
when people were Latino, not Latinx, and all this other
Right.
shenanigan now,
Sure.
and motherfuckers want new labels on fucking, old products. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, man, I don't know where this this new sensation's coming from, man.
Mm.
But I'm scared of where it's going.
Mm.
I'm very scared of where it's going.
Mm.
In 20 years, who's going to protect me and you, Dave? Who's gonna be a cop? Who's gonna be a Marine
Mm.
in 20 years?
Right. Right.
You're gonna call the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna show up at your house?
Well, hopefully the cop.
Officer pronoun?
Mm.
Yes, Mr. Pendleton. You called in a disturbance. Really, Dave?
Well,
You're gonna have to get a gun, Dave.
come on.
You're gonna have to break down, get a fucking GUN in the homestead. I keep buying ammo. Why? Because who's gonna protect me in 20 years when I'm an old fuck? Who's gonna protect me? I'm scared as hell.
Yeah, I think the police will still be there. I mean, like I tell people, I don't. Even my mother agrees. One of the dumbest statements, dumbest references is defund the police, because listen, we need the police. You know, like I told you, I grew up in a suburban town where a lot of my friends, their dads were police officers, and these are still some of my best friends today. And their dads were, I don't want to say like second dads to me, because I had my dad, but they, you know, so I always respected the police, and we need the police. So when I hear people say, oh, defund the police, you know, I'm not down with that. I mean, we need the police, like you said, you know, but I do feel that we should do a better job of reallocating resources to the police. Like when I see dudes like Eric Garner being choked out because he was selling cigarettes. Really? You couldn't talk to the dude? You had to choke him out, you know? So I have issues with that.
No, but that's an incident, right?
Yes.
But think about how much police civilian contact on a day there is.
Right.
So when we have an incident here or there,
yes,
good or bad, or
right,
you know, atrocious, percentage-wise, you're an insurance guy. So
yes,
oh my God,
right,
my God, you're a walking fucking chart, right?
Yes.
Graphs, pie charts, whatever you like.
Yes.
You're a walking spreadsheet. That's what I'm looking
right.
for.
Yes.
You're a mother. You must look at everything in a spreadsheet.
That's
costs, right. You know, what is it? Liability or asset?
You got it.
You know, the waitress comes over, takes your order. You're like, liability or asset. But so when I see this stuff, it amazes me. Okay, because when is the black and brown community gonna cut the shit? Okay,
right.
White people get shot every day,
yes,
right?
Yes.
White people ain't looting at REI or Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop.
Right.
Oh my God, they shot a white dude. Fuck this. We're going to Cabela's, Jeff.
Right.
Yeah, Jeff, let's go. Then, you know what I mean? But not our fucking people.
Right.
They shoot a fucking black or brown dude. Oh my God, I gotta go get some Jordans. What the fuck does that got to do with a time of day, dude?
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
And it was like, you know, we're watching online all this gross shoplifting. I was watching a thing a couple of weeks back from Brooklyn. Target just closed like 3 Targets in Brooklyn, New York. And they were interviewing this little old black lady. She was crying. She lived like 2-3 blocks from the Target where she worked. And she said she'd been there. They opened up 15 years ago. Yeah. And she said she'd been working there since day one. And she said that's her hustle. And she goes, these people are my family. I've been here 15 years and I just lost my job because these cats come in here and just clear us out week after week. And the store is just closing because they can't make a nickel. So they got to close down. Wow. So this little old black lady, she was crying because she lost her motherfucking job, bro. She's crying because she lost her fucking hustle. And she's like, what do I do? She's like, this place was two blocks from my house. I walk to work every day. And like, dude, you felt her pain. And it was like, she just lost her hustle because cats just go in and loot the place. Yeah. And, you know, now if a cop goes to stop a dude, oh, well, you stopped him because he was black, because he was Latino. Right. Not because the motherfucker was stealing 20 packs of razor blades. Right, right. You know, even if razor blades are crazy expensive now. Right, right. You know what I mean? Shit. You be thinking twice before you shave. You're like, do I really need to shave this week? I ain't going nowhere important. Fuck that. You know, I work for myself. I'm like, shit, I'm not shaving this week. I'm trying to stretch that razor out, motherfucker. You know, you work in corporate, you got to shave every fucking day. You know, you're like, I can't go to work like this. You know? But what how's that make you feel, Dave, as a...
Well, no, I feel that woman's pain, because I also hear, like, you know, when CVS closes and, like you say, like elderly people, like all of a sudden they can't.
Somebody just said Manchester Mall's closing.
Really?
I just heard that they said they closed Manchester.
No way. Wow.
Dude, Amazon got these places fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody just said Manchester is.
Damn. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, because I've heard that, like, people in certain areas, all of a sudden their local pharmacy closes where they got to get their insulin or whatever. Now they got to drive 20, 30 miles because, the one that they went to had to close because, like you said, either looters or shoplifters or whatever, mismanaged or whatever, No, I feel for them. But like I said, when I think of the police, and matter of fact, I was just talking to some coworkers about this. I'll always say, like, in every walk of life, whether it's Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, police, insurance, it's always about, I say, 3 to 5% of different groups are not good people. Now, obviously, if there's 3 to 5% bad police officers, that might affect your life more than 3 to 5% bad
regular dudes.
But that's why, like I said, I don't believe in the term defunding the police. I believe in giving the police better resources. Like I said, you make a good point that, when you think of the police shootings or the Eric Garner stuff or the George Floyd, when you break it down, it's almost like in football where an offensive lineman could shut down a dude, 100, like 60 plays, and the one time he gives up a sack,
he ain't shit.
Yeah, exactly. And he gives up a sack, and the dude
overrated, right? And they start calling him overrated.
That's
over, you know what I mean?
That's right.
But all season he's been the Mac Daddy because he fumbled it tonight. He ain't shit.
That's right. So I get that, but like I said, when I see certain situations, like I said, like with the Eric Garner, something like, come on, did you have to choke the brother out? Could you listen? I'm sure there's more to that story. I'm sure they probably had told that dude 100 times, stop selling your illegal cigarettes. And how many times is enough? I get it, but come on, you didn't have to choke the brother out. So, so that's always been my feelings with when it comes to police, and that 98% of most police officers just want to do their job and get home to their families. For people that say, oh, we don't need the police, really. So okay, when someone breaks in your house, like who you gonna call? So yeah.
Call the pawn shop because that's where your shit's at.
That's right.
Call the pawn shop.
That's right.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dave P.
Yes, sir.
You're just so you know, body armor.
Yes.
It is controlled, but
Okay.
just like anything,
Mm-hmm.
I call it a human factor.
Okay.
There's always a way to get something.
Yes.
There's always a way to get something.
Mm-hmm.
You can order shit overseas.
Yes.
It comes in. The postmasters. They do it. They those guys are fighting pills. They're fighting bootleg Jordans.
That's right.
They're fighting bootleg Viagra,
Yes.
steroids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're fighting bootleg golf clubs.
Yes.
So those things are always going to be around.
Sure.
When did you start feeling the way you did about guns?
So
did something lead you there? Did you always feel any guns in your household as a kid? Were you guys a gun?
No, never had them. But see, my thing about guns is, like I've always said, if you are a law-abiding citizen, you want a gun for hobby, you want a gun for hunting, you want a gun for protection, have at it. I have no problem with that. But like I put in my post, if you are on the FBI watch list, if you have psychological problems,
now psychological problems, right?
Yes.
You could be fine today.
Yes.
And what happens is you have a major something in your family and in your life, and something goes click.
Right.
So that's a factor that cannot be predicted.
No, you're right. You're right. So I'm not saying
you got a guy who's something traumatic happens in his family life, personal life.
Yes.
And then my man, then he's over there doing some dumb shit.
Oh yeah.
Hey, crystal balls in the shop.
That's
we can't predict that.
No, you're absolutely right. You could be
I could go off the ledge one day and you'd be like,
That's
damn,
right.
I didn't think Jim got down like that. Blah, blah,
That's
blah.
right.
You know, I worked with the guy a bunch of times. He didn't seem like he had that shit in him.
That's right. That's right. And that's why a lot of times when you watch these crime shows, you'll hear like a neighbor, oh my God, Frank was the was our Cub Scout leader, like that B2K dude out in Kansas. He was like high up in the church. So I get it. It's not the end all, but my thing is there has to be whatever we're doing isn't working. And like you said, yeah, if you want to get something, you're going to be able to get it. I get it. But I'm sorry, you should not be able to legally get body armor. You should not be able to legally get a bullet that can penetrate a police officer's vest. You should not be able to get a AR-15.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
The AR-15, you know, I see you're heavy on that. You know what AR
Yes.
means?
Assault rifle?
No.
What?
The guy who made the original rifle, right, was a guy named Eugene Stoner. He's,
Okay.
you know, he started developing it. He sold it to a company called Armalite.
Okay.
Arma, AR.
Okay.
So they called it the AR-15.
Gotcha.
Has nothing to do with assault.
Oh, okay.
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 Everybody, you know what I mean? And you're not the first person.
Yes.
Everybody, oh my God, assault.
Yes.
If I hit someone with a fucking clipboard, would that be an assault clipboard? No.
I got you.
If I hit someone with a chair,
Mm-hmm.
would it be an assault chair?
Right.
No, man.
Mm-hmm.
A rifle is just a rifle.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if it's an AR or any other
Mhm.
fucking, you know, on the Ponderosa shit.
Right.
They all have the same lethality.
Yes.
And you know, it's like if you take the horns off an antelope,
Mm-hmm.
what would stop the predator, now
Mm-hmm.
the cheetah, from attacking it?
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Mm-hmm.
anybody without a gun,
Mhm.
you're a slave, man.
Okay.
It's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dangerous not to have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I'll give you know what I mean. You know, the old samurai of Bushido says, "What keeps a sword in its sheath?
Mm-hmm.
Another sword in its sheath."
Hmm.
Because if you know I got one and you got one, you're like, yeah, let's
Mhm.
let it go.
Right. Right.
And you know, and like Dave Chappelle said,
Mm-hmm.
you know why it's called the Second Amendment? Because if the First Amendment fails, then we got something to back it up with.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, people really attack the gun world,
Right.
and what I always say, if it was the good people,
Mm-hmm.
you know we'd be the problem.
Sure.
You know we'd be the fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's a ton of people out there with a ton of guns, myself included.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't want to hurt nobody.
Right.
I'm not into it. Like, you know, that one time you posted up and you talked about it, and
Mhm.
you went into a little filibuster.
That's right. That's
And,
right.
and my response was, I'm the guy behind you at Dairy Queen.
That's right.
I was behind you at Stop and Shop.
Yes.
I was on the other side of the gas station
Mhm.
getting petrol for my fucking
Right.
petrol burner,
Yes.
and I never harmed you. I
That's
never
right.
harmed anyone else.
That's right.
And I never leave the house not being strapped
Right.
because the way I was raised.
Yes.
You know, my dad told me, he goes, anytime you have anyone with you,
Mm-hmm.
they're your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's another man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and I'm fucked up in the head because I wish I could leave the house in a pair of slippers.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I see a guy out and about
Mm-hmm.
in a pair of slippers with his family,
Mm-hmm.
I go, man, I wish I could be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I could never be that comfortable
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, dude, you got your family with you. You got to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
You're their protector, you fucker. And you're over here acting like you're in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Like if something popped off, what the fuck would you do?
Mm-hmm.
What are you, Bruce Willis in Die Hard, bitch? But you over here in some flip flops, motherfucker. And that shit to me fucking irks me, dude.
Right.
Because I'm like, you know, you got your wife with you, you got your kids with you,
Right.
and I wish I could have that tranquility,
Mm.
but I never would. Like, and I don't care if I'm with my friends,
Mm-hmm.
with my love interest.
Right.
I don't care, man. Who's ever with me,
Right.
I have to. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I got them,
Sure.
and that's just how I roll. And you know, I'm NDO and no days off, man.
Right.
I go somewhere, I evaluate,
Mm-hmm.
and like when I see guys walk around and it's all, you know, love and all laffy taffy,
Right.
I'm like, fuck, man. You know,
Mhm.
where do I buy tickets to this utopia?
Mm.
One of my best friends was at the Manchester Mall when that shit kicked off the day after Christmas.
Okay.
Remember when that happened?
Yes. Yes.
And you know, I was privy to those videotapes.
Mm.
One of the videotapes at that mall got a freaking 15, 16-year-old fucking big ass baby Huey motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And when it hit that certain time, I seen him lay out a 5 foot flat, 100-pound woman.
Mm.
And he laid her out at a clothes rack.
Mm.
And then my buddy that day was at the mall
Yep.
with his girlfriend and her
Mhm.
2 daughters.
Yep.
The 2 daughters were in a store looking at something, and him and his girlfriend were at the food court getting a slice of pizza.
Okay.
And he said when the shit jumped off, it was total mayhem, people running, screaming. He said the first thing he heard was my voice going, "Where's your gun, bitch?
Mm.
Real nice to have it at home.
Mm.
Real nice."
Mm.
And he goes, "Dude, all I heard was your annoying ass voice."
Mm.
He goes, "Because I left my shit at the crib that day."
Mm.
I said, "Dude, man, you're with Precious Cargo."
Right.
I don't know how to do it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, you know, when it comes to this,
Right.
you know, and it's like right now with this illegal shit that's going on here in the country,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a friend of mine that I grew up with, he's a social worker outside of Chicago.
Yep.
And he's giving these people houses, homes, money,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not even vetting these people.
Mm.
They got Middle Eastern people now changing their name to Latino names.
Wow.
So we don't even know if they're terrorists now,
Mm.
because now from Mohammed, now they went to Miguel.
Wow.
Yeah, how's that?
Mm. Well, that's why, like I said, I'm all for, if you are a law-abiding citizen, get your gun. I'm okay with. I'm not just like hopefully our next president, Kamala Harris.
Oh hell no! Oh,
You know,
hell
we
no.
can get into that. But you know, her and Walt.
She wants to take guns. They're gonna take guns.
She owns a gun.
She owns bodyguards.
You know, and Waltz is he's endorsed by the NRA. You know, so I'm all for it. If you're a law-abiding citizen and you want a gun, go get your gun. But there should be. Don't you believe in universal background checks? And all that
Of
stuff?
course.
Okay.
We all have to pass them.
So I bet you, me and you have more in common when it comes to guns than you think.
But now I believe there's a civil war coming, because with everything that's going on, with everybody coming in,
Yes.
there's gonna come a point that there ain't gonna be enough nipple on the government's tip to
Okay.
give to everybody,
Okay.
and these people are just gonna say, you know what, we're just gonna start taking shit,
Okay.
and it's gonna happen. And guess what?
Mm.
You're gonna have to pick up a gun to protect your homestead,
Mm.
because look at all these cities now saying don't call the PD unless it's a life or death.
Mm.
How scary is that?
That's
When
very
your
scary.
PD says don't call us unless you got a dead body in the front of your
Mm.
house. Really, dude? So we got to take it that far?
Mm.
So I believe there's a civil war coming.
Mm.
A friend of mine, Ed Calderon, he's been on the Sean Ryan podcast. He's been on Joe Rogan twice.
Yeah.
He's from Tijuana.
Okay.
You know, he's a look at one guy's phenomenal instructor.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to teach with him.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan asked him, he goes, you know, what do you think about the Second Amendment?
Mm.
And he gave him this situation that's real.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna want you to think about it.
Mhm.
He says, imagine at dinner time, you got to knock on the door.
Mhm.
You open the door, there's 2-3 unsavory dudes at your door,
Yes.
and they go, hey, our boss is having a party tonight.
Mm.
He's inviting your daughter. We'll be back at 10 o'clock to pick her up.
Mm.
And they leave.
Mm.
What would you do?
I'd call the police.
Police can't help you.
Mm.
They haven't done anything.
Mm.
They just invited your daughter to a party, sir.
Okay.
That's not illegal.
Mm.
Is it illegal to invite somebody to a party?
No, it isn't. It isn't.
So what would you do, Dave?
I would probably try to if they came in a car, I'd probably get their license plates number and
But you know how these guys play. You know what they are. You know what they do.
it was probably a stolen car or whatever.
But I'm, you know,
Okay.
see where a firearm comes into play. It's an equalizer. You're not gonna go out there with your garden hoe and rake.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
and that's where people don't realize where this is an equalizer.
Okay.
I'm from South America,
Yes.
right? Our last president came in now. You know, my parents live over there. We have, you know, a home there, everything.
Yes.
I have my pistol permit over there.
Yes.
Our new president came in, and because crime was at an all-time high,
Yep.
how does he solve crime?
Mm-hmm.
He took everyone's pistol permit away.
Wow. Really?
Because it must be the good guys causing crimes.
I see.
So he took everyone's pistol permit away.
So the crime go up?
So now hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a weapon.
Mm.
So what did he do to me? Did he make me an outlaw?
Pretty much.
I have a gun now with no permit.
Yeah.
I bought the gun legally with paperwork through an official guy.
Right.
You know, it's registered.
Yep.
But he took my permit away. But I never did anything.
Right. Right.
I didn't harm anyone. I did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even in the country.
Wow.
And he took my permit away.
Right.
But he made me a criminal now.
He did.
And that's why I tell people, you guys don't realize what you have in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And you squander it.
Mm-hmm.
You squander it away.
Right.
Because if, Lord forbid, it does get to that point, you're going to have to, it's going to be a call to arms. And you're going to have to protect the homestead.
Sure.
And it's going to be more than dirty looks and good intentions. And that's why I tell people with the gun stuff, I'm like, dude, you know, stop thinking that the police is everything. You know, you live in a good town. You got a small PD.
Right. Right.
You think they can handle some major shit?
No.
Because they ain't equipped for it, because their business as usual ain't dealing with big shit.
Yeah, they don't have a SWAT team.
You know what I mean?
Right.
People in your town are calling the cops because, you know, a couple of your leaves blew over to their lawn, and oh my God, blah, blah, blah. They calling over some bullshit. And you're laughing because you know it's true. Because I got friends that work in those towns. And, you know, oh my God, you know, his snowblower blew a couple flakes over to my driveway. And they calling over some fucking nonsense. And that's why I tell people, man, you're going to have to get realistic about this gun shit.
Well, like I said, I'm not anti-gun. I just think that there should be restrictions.
There are restrictions.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? They do run backgrounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just, you know what I mean? If you got anything with DV, domestic violence,
yes,
my man, you know what I mean? You better go buy a fucking Daisy fucking wrist rocket, slingshot.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? That's it. If you have anything with DV, you ain't touching. No chief is giving you a pistol permit.
Good.
Now, can you get something illegally? Yeah, man. That's why it's called illegal.
Sure. But as you know, all these mass shootings, you know, because that's what I hate when I always hear that argument. Oh, you know, what about all the shootings in Chicago? And so I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a problem. But how come every time there's a mass shooting with the assault rifle or whatever you want to call it, those guns aren't illegal. They were legally purchased, and
not all the time.
Every one of those mass
shootings. You ever wonder why every time we have a mass shooting, why does everybody want prayer after this? And
right,
but nobody wants it in the school. You can't pledge allegiance to the flag now, right? You don't pledge allegiance to the flag. Oh no, because that's violating somebody's fucking something. But after a shooting, prayers.
Right.
You're a day late, dollar short.
Yeah. Right.
Once again, man, we can't. We gotta stop living in this fantasy world, this utopia. Because guess what? It's here.
Right.
You know, the guns are here. You gotta just acknowledge it. They're here, man. They're here. Deal with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're here.
Right.
But the good people aren't the problem. And you got to stop restricting PDs on stopping people and, you know, patting some kid down because you're violating some kid's rights.
Right.
No, dude. Let the police do their job.
I agree.
And you'll live in a safer place.
Yeah.
But the issue is what I see nowadays is everybody wants to go along to get along.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and especially, you know, in our communities, if I say something and you say something, then what?
Mm.
You and Uncle Tom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a house nigga.
Right,
You a
right,
sellout.
right.
And all that other bullshit
Right.
comes out. Oh, you on that fucking, you know, you fucking shoe shining and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man.
Mm.
Just don't be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
you got kids getting shot in urban cities. Hartford.
Right.
Every kid getting shot. They're getting shot between fucking 1 and 5 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Them little motherfuckers work third shift.
Right.
You got a third shift job.
Right.
Dave, when's the last time you were up at 3 in the morning?
I can't remember.
You had COVID, right? You had the flu, right? You was fucking sick as a dog fucking watching fucking Law and Order, and you were sick as hell. Fucking Kleenex all over the fucking sofa, right?
Right.
Oh, my baby got shot. My baby got shot.
Right.
What-
Right.
See if anybody's baby gets shot during work hours.
Right. Right.
I want to know how many babies get shot on construction sites.
Yeah.
How many babies get shot wearing hard hats
Mm-hmm.
and vests and fluorescent vests?
You're right.
Babies can get 3 in the morning.
Right. Right.
If your baby was home watching Netflix, he wouldn't have got shot.
That's right.
And I know I'll catch a lot of shit for what I just said, but I don't care
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just tired of this narrative.
No, I agree that unfortunately people don't take responsibility.
Own your shit.
Right. Everybody wants to blame somebody and not look at the big picture. You know, like I remember sadly writing, I think it was in Hartford. I don't know if you remember, it was way back where this young man, he was running with a bunch of kids, and he had he had already been in trouble. He was living with his grandmother, and he had the ankle bracelet, and they had robbed somebody, and an off-duty police officer saw him. He had a lighter. Remember the dude? He had a lighter shaped like a gun, and he turned around, and the police officer shot and killed him. And everybody's up in arms, like, oh, you know, they put a picture of the kid.
Pull his kindergarten picture out.
Exactly. His Cub Scout uniform and all that. Now,
pull his Halloween picture out when he was Spider-Man or
right.
Tigger.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
whatever.
Right. Now, did I feel bad that
as a parent you felt bad? You're supposed to.
That's right. But I also, like I said, you got to take some ownership. Everybody was like, oh, that cop. It's like, what was he supposed to do? It's like
find out if it was real.
Exactly. You know, he turned at him and they showed the lighter. It was shaped like a gun, you know. So I felt bad that that grandmother lost their kid. But, you know, sometimes there's bad kids. There's, you know, just like there's bad adults, there's bad kids.
Like last week in New York, have you seen that new shit the kids are doing? Subway surfing?
No.
They're going on top of the subway and they're riding them like fucking.
What?
Yeah, dude, in New York, it's the new thing. It's called subway surfing. So these cats are jumping on top of it while it's moving, and they're just hanging out and getting the coolest view, I guess, from the city.
Oh,
well, what happens is sometimes they forget to duck. So like this 11-year-old kid, my man freaking pretty much took his head off.
Oh.
And
wow.
So now the mother, he went to school in the morning and then left, and the mother's now, oh, it's the school's fault. They're like, because they didn't sequester him and they didn't chain him down to a desk.
Wow.
So now, you know, she got an attorney and, you know, oh my God, now it's the school system's fault because, you know, they're supposed to lock the doors like, you know, like Morgan Freeman and Stand By Me or something, you know? God damn, that's a good movie.
Well, you know, people always crack up at my job because in Jersey, everybody knows everybody. That dude that played, or was that Stand By? Remember the dude? Yeah, he was playing the principal, Joe Clark. Joe Clark went to high school with my mother in Newark, and I went to high school with his kids.
Come on.
Town. Yeah.
Right, because Benson was in that movie too, right?
Yeah, I think he was.
Robert Guillaume?
I think he was.
Yeah, Benson.
Right.
Robert Guillaume.
Right. That's right.
That's such a good movie.
Mhm.
But look at the way he talked to it. Imagine talking to the kid like that at
Oh
school.
yeah, that
They,
principal would have been fired. You know.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That's like you talk about the woke, and it's funny. Like me and my son, when he was looking at colleges to play football, and we were in the car. He was a junior in high school, and I was like, I said, your generation is so weak. I was like, you guys, it's like when I was growing up, it wasn't everybody gets up and bat. You don't keep track of the score and all this stuff. And I could almost see the gears in his head moving. And he said, okay. He's like, you done? I said, yeah. And he said, okay. He's like, yeah, we had that stuff. He's like, well, who do you blame? Do you blame the kids or do you blame some of these parents for being so weak that they came up? He's like, you can't blame the parents. And I was like, damn, he's right. For all these, like you said, like when we get older, who's going to be our police officer? Who's going to be our Marines? And yeah, that is when you make such a soft type of group, when you have this type of stuff where everybody gets up and bat, don't keep track of the score. So my son, I was like, man, he's right. I can't blame the kids. I got to blame the adults that came up with this stuff. Because when we were growing up, guess what? If you didn't make a team, like they said, everyone used that story like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's one of the greatest basketball players ever.
Oh,
He got cut his junior year. He didn't call the school district and have the coach fired. Guess what? He tried out next year and made it, but that's what we're living with right now. So,
like I said, I got a lot of friends of mine who are school teachers, and a lot of them are security at these schools.
Yep.
And what I hear is just atrocious because they got these parents going in and, you know what I mean, and just doing what the parents tell them.
Right.
Like, I met one teacher and she was telling me, and I'm like, man, I'd love to be principal because I would walk a parent out to the sidewalk and say, see that sign?
Mm-hmm.
See who's that says principal? Run shit.
That's right.
So guess what? For 8 hours, let me do my 8 hours. You take the rest of the day later.
That's right.
And
let me do it. I'm hired.
And you know what I mean. And you got I hear so much that I get so disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a kid going to school all dirty, but when mom drops him off, she's fresh to death.
That's
fucking,
right.
She got her nails or her did.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, she got her Beyonce jeans on.
That's right.
And these chicks look like they ready to fucking hit the club.
Right.
And then, bitch, it's Monday at fucking 8 o'clock. You're dropping your kid off.
Right.
You're dropping your kid off, or you man shopping. And but yeah, that's a huge statement.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, now, man, it's the norm that everybody gets heard,
mm-hmm.
and that it's scary to me.
Sure.
Because back then shit just didn't get entertained,
right?
Because it's like, you crazy or something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You don't get to play in my band because you want to play in my band.
Right. That's right.
You got to hold your own.
Right.
And that's why when I see this shit, I'm like, yeah, you crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a scary place.
Right.
That I tell everybody. I say I'm very scared, and I don't even say it facetiously.
Right.
I'm really scared because I go it just seems like out of the handful of kids that I'll see that are good,
right,
they're so outnumbered.
Mm.
They're so outnumbered.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got cats that just it's scary, man. It's just it's scary, and now you sit on a board, right, for
mm-hmm.
education.
Yes.
And you guys are going over these books now, and you know what I mean, and it's just like I can't even play the game with the pronouns. I won't entertain them, and I catch a lot of flack. Like you go on my LinkedIn profile, and where it says pronouns, it says she, and then parentheses says nanigans. Dude, I get emails and people got that shit. I won't even address you, bro. And like, oh my, a friend of mine, her son works at a restaurant, and she went out. He was a waiter. Okay. He's very, very good kid. Yep. Brought up the right way. And he went up and he said, "Good evening, guys. My name's such and such." And can I talk to the manager? because he says "Good evening, guys," and some lady took exception to it
Why?
because he said "Good evening, guys,"
Wow.
and she doesn't like to be addressed as guys.
Oh,
So the manager spoke to this kid, and when he got home, he's telling his mom, and his mom's like, "Yo, it's a new world. It's your world. Get used to it, kid." And it's just it's insanity, man. It's insanity where we're going and where it's at. And I just, you know what I mean? I hate to say I blame a lot of it on your boy, our last president.
oh, come on.
I blame a lot of it on him
Wow.
because he entertained them cats, man. And and one thing about the orange guy, he just don't entertain that shit. I know people hate him because he's a loudmouth.
Right.
But in the 80s and 90s, every motherfucker wanted to be at his house for a party like Hugh Hefner. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
They wasn't calling them all this, that, and a third.
Right.
Everybody wanted to go to a Hugh Hef Playboy Mansion or a Trump party.
Yeah.
Shit, even rappers were going to his parties.
Oh yeah. 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 But
You
this
know what I mean?
dude, you don't like you say like how you're like these are scary times. Like I tell people, I don't think Trump created racism in this country. I don't think he created the racial and the socio-economic divide in this country. But what he did was he took a divide and he made it worse.
Because he told people to go to work.
No, because nobody's had a problem with that. No, because what he did,
he told people to go to work and they got mad as fuck. They're like, "What you talking about? Why we got to go to work? Give us money. Give us money. We don't want to go to work."
No, that's not the problem. What he did was he took fear. He took fear, and he has people believing that black and brown people are. I mean, what do you have to say about him and Vance saying that black and brown people are stealing your pets and eating your dogs and cats? I mean, that's about the most racist stuff you could do to a minority group. And I told somebody, what if all of a sudden Trump said, you know what, I don't like Irish people or Italians. And let's say all of a sudden there was some strife going on in Italy and there was a whole bunch of Italian immigrants that ended up in Springfield, Ohio. And he said the Italians are doing it, or the Irish or Scottish.
They're stealing horses to make mortadella.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they used to make mortadella out of horse meat.
Oh, okay.
See, so that wasn't even a racist comment I made.
Right.
But see, but you thought it was.
No.
See, original mortadella was horse meat.
Ah, okay.
And I only know that because my Paisan brothers.
I see.
See
but see, they wouldn't. I just hate when people only have a problem when, like I said, when it directly affects them. Like this dude who I work with, my grandfather came here legally from Bermuda. His grandfather came here from Jamaica. And I said, and this dude, he won't say that he's a Trumpster, but he leans that way, which is fine. I said, okay, so what if all of a sudden they said that these were Jamaicans or Bermudians, where my family from? Okay, so why do you have to wait till it has to directly affect you to speak out? I mean, you don't think that was some messed up stuff, saying that black and brown people are eating dogs and cats, even after the mayor, the council, they were like, this is some bullshit, that never happened. And then what did they say? They said, yeah, Vance said, yeah, you're right. I guess, but we brought this because we feel that during the Biden, Kamala Harris, they were letting too many illegal immigrants. Okay, we can talk about that, but you don't make up some stuff like that against black and brown people. You don't have a problem with that?
I got a problem with, you're going to tell me an immigrant isn't going to eat a goose? Of course they are. Because
of course, if you're starving, sure.
Of course,
right.
Because I remember seeing my 100-pound grandmother, little fragile thing that I thought was, an angel on earth to me. She'd go in the back and grab a couple chickens and snap their neck. And the first time I saw her do it, I was like, who is this lady?
Right.
Because, she was, like I said, she was an angel on earth to me.
Right.
And the first time I seen her do that, I'm like, fucking savagery.
Right.
And I was like, yo, she don't play.
Right.
So when I hear it, I go, yeah, these people are hungry. They're gonna see a bunch of geese. They're gonna go and fucking cook that thing up. And fucking, they're hungry, motherfucker. What? People go to Chinese restaurants to get fucking that roast duck shit,
Right.
mushu,
Sure.
and they paying. I'm like, dude,
yeah. But that's something to say a goose, but not a dog and a cat.
you know what I mean? So maybe it was a slight slanderous, but still a big question.
Yes. Give it to
Why is it that you go to Miami,
Yes.
Calle Ocho, Little Havana,
Yes.
all you see is Trump flags?
Because for some odd reason, the Cuban Americans associate Democrats with socialism, and which I don't get, because what I don't get is like I told one of my friends who is white and very well off, probably a millionaire, and I said, listen, if I was rich, white, I didn't care about gay rights, I didn't care about Black Lives Matter, I didn't care about all this other stuff, I probably would be a Trumpster. I get that group. Okay. What I don't get evangelicals, because Trump is the most unchristian president we've ever had. I don't get women that support him. I don't get black and brown people. And like you talk about people in Miami, do the Cuban, do they forget about our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters when the hurricane hit and this dude cracking jokes and throwing paper towels when hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans are dying from the hurricane, and he's making jokes? Or my Mexican brothers and sisters that, there's a bunch of illegals that are coming, but he's saying they're sending rapists and all that, and saying all the negative stuff against Mexicans and stuff like that.
Well, don't forget one thing.
Yes.
All right. I have a lot of friends in the Fed system.
Yes.
A lot of friends in the Fed system.
Okay.
Venezuela just did it to us.
Yes.
They did what Cuba did. They did what Cuba did to us.
Well, emptying the jails
and the asylums.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They cleaned the jails out and the asylums.
Okay. Why
do you think Fidel, when he told when he said, I just flushed the toilet on the United States?
Right.
And that's what these cats are doing.
I know.
They're flushing the toilet on us again.
Right.
Without the boats, without the Marielitos.
Okay.
And that's what's going on, man. They're flushing the toilets. And the Cubans, they know socialism don't work.
Yes.
My mother's best friend, I'm trying to get her on the show, but she gets a little, wrapped up.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to get her. Damn it. The Cubans, they're so they lived under Fidel, and they realized that you don't gotta like your leader, but is he doing right by your country?
Right.
And that's why they don't care how this guy acts. They realize one thing: what got this country to be where it's at? Hard work, not fucking handouts. Okay, your peoples came here legally. My peoples came here legally.
Yeah.
My father got off a plane at JFK.
Yeah.
With $5 in his pocket,
yep,
and a T-shirt, and it was snowing. And the next day, he had to go to Salvation Army and get himself a jacket.
Right.
Okay, my pops got off a plane in the dead of winter, with $5, and he had to make his way. And the first word my dad learned in this country was overtime. Overtime.
Oh, wow.
He said he was working in a factory. And he seen a dude walking around, the boss, with a clipboard.
Yeah.
So he asked the Puerto Rican dude, he goes, what's that? He goes, oh, once to know if you want to work overtime. My father goes, what's that? He goes, oh, if you want to stay and work more. So he goes, you can stay and work more? He goes, yeah, they'll pay you time and a half. My father's like, huh? He goes, the guy's like, you want to work? Yeah, I'll get you. My dad said that was the first word he learned in this country. And guess what? You know what I mean? We never grew up on a system.
Yeah.
We weren't, welfare kids.
Yes.
And, both of my parents worked. My mother went to school.
Sure.
You know what I mean? My mother went to college.
Yeah.
You hear my mom talk on the phone. She sounds like a white chick. My mother got no accent. You know, my dad, the motherfucker sounded like he got here last week because he worked around all Latinos. Yeah, my dad talked. You'd be like, "Yeah, this guy just got here," and he'd be like, "I've been here 25 years." Like, you've been here 25 minutes, motherfucker. You haven't been here 25 years. You know, but my mother's English is fucking spot on. But my dad worked all around Latinos all the time in a machine shop.
Right.
That's all he worked around.
Gotcha.
He worked with a ton of dudes, so he never had a flex of Spanish. His English.
Sure.
So it never got better. Never got better.
Okay.
So you heard my pop talk,
right.
Like, you know, this guy just got here.
Right.
You know, yeah, like typical people, they would ask, "How long you been here?" They'd be like, "Yeah, right."
Right.
Yeah.
But what's your views on, like, everyone just blows off January 6th?
You know what I mean?
I mean, how do we forget that?
What's that? Remind me.
January 6th, when they stormed the Capitol and beat up cops. How about that?
That right there. That was.
Do we blame Trump for that? Of course we do.
No, that was a bunch of renegade dudes.
Wait,
that's a
renegade
bunch of renegade dudes, bro.
Renegade dudes?
Yeah.
You mean like the thousands of people that, and that's what kills me. How he gets the police endorsement when talk to those Capitol Police, ask them how many of them are Trumpsters, and they'll tell you that, like, my favorite dude was the one dude. There's two dudes that you see from the Capitol Police. His big brother, and then I think the other dude might have been Italian dude. He's got like the tats on his neck, and he was being beaten, and they were trying to get his gun, and CNN had him on the news, and they were like, when they were trying to beat him and get his gun, one of them rioters said, no, don't do that, and protected him. And CNN said, so what do you say to that guy? And he's like, and they weren't able to beep it out fast enough. He had the perfect line. He said, I would tell that guy, thank you for saving my life, but F you for being there. And that sums it up. It's like, you know, everybody tries to just blow that off for the January. My grandkids will be studying that day in history. He owns that. That was 100% him.
No, that's a bunch of fucking outcast motherfuckers, bro. They ain't rolling with us like that.
Outcast?
We wouldn't do that.
Thousands of dudes.
There's still a bunch of outcast motherfuckers.
Yeah, but
there's a million dudes like myself that ain't rocking with that shit.
I know.
And when you said, how can Trump get the police to back up?
Yes.
Easy. Easy.
Okay. What?
Because Obama never went to one fucking funeral. He never went to one cop funeral, bro.
Sure?
He never went to one cop funeral. That's why Obama couldn't buy a fucking cop vote if you wanted to. And that because the guy never showed up at one, bro.
Okay.
So that's why everybody's like, yo, that cat no bueno. And that's why it was easy pickings for Trump to come in and grab the endorsement because this. Dude, you know, look, Trump has shown up at so many events, and I hate to say his PR movement has been on point. Now, what do you think about the shot on him?
What about it?
What do you think about it?
I thought it was messed up.
It's good.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, I say I don't care if you like him or not, but the fact that it happened on American soil, that's South American narco tactics to go after somebody of that.
Oh yeah,
that's like the Escobar days when these motherfuckers are taking out candidates to saying, "Oh no, you look good for no, you got to go." You know, I don't know if you remember, you know, when the Colombians blew up a plane to take out a candidate.
Oh, okay.
And last year in Ecuador, they killed a candidate. And you know what I mean? It's like I said, I tell people that third world shit happened here, bro. That's not cool.
No, that's
third world shit, man.
Oh yeah, and that's why I tell people, believe me, I've had friends that say, "Oh, I wish they would have gotten him." I was like, "No, you don't," because guess what? If he had been shot and killed, there's too many crazy dudes that would be like, "Okay, that's how we're playing."
He would have been a martyr.
They would have taken out. No, I'm not worried about that. They would have taken out Kamala Harris. They would have taken out Biden. They would have taken out MSNBC, CNN. They would have said, okay, now we got a war. So I actually the most religious person, but I actually swear to God, I actually prayed that night and thank God that he wasn't seriously hurt, because I really feel that had he been hurt, it would have been World War III, because there's too many crazy people out there, and they would have said, "Oh, okay, if that's you take one of ours out, now we're going to take out one of yours." So I'm glad he wasn't seriously hurt, but I obviously am hoping that he does not win, because this dude is not good for this country. He is.
So back to my question.
Yes.
What would you do if somebody knocked on your door and they invited your daughter to a party?
Mhm.
2-3 gritty guys that you knew meant business.
Well, like you said, it's not illegal. So, but I would still call the police and say that there were some unsavory dudes that came to my house, and I would say, can you send somebody by here, whatever, and I have faith. I think they'd come by. Like you said, I guess, like you said, there are some states that are saying that, hey, don't call us unless it's a serious. But I have faith in our police department that if I called them, they would.
But what happened if right at that point in time
Mhm.
they were just plagued with shit going on in the city, just shit popping, and
Mhm.
they can't entertain your call,
Mm.
Mr. Patterson? They just can't. We really don't have time for this right now, sir.
Right. I guess I'd have to defend my family.
Guns and equalizer, bro.
I like I
Guns
said,
and equalizer, bro.
I get it. Like I said, I'm not anti-gun. I'm just with restrictions. Like I said, if you're on the FBI watch list, if you're on the no-fly list, if you have psychological, and you make a great point that, yeah, you could be hey, there's Jim. He's the head of our Boy Scouts. And all of a sudden he flips out like Michael Douglas and what was that?
Falling down.
Do something like that. You're like, damn, what happened? So you can't
Well,
predict everything. I get it. But when I see like that dude down in Sandy Hook, who, that dumb idiot mother,
Yeah.
she knew her son was messed up. You can't be having guns like that around. And guess what? Who was the first person he killed? Her. So I hear you that, and in fact, one of my boys who I grew up with, we used to debate about guns because he fought in Desert Storm, and actually, I think he got the Purple Heart.
Ooh.
And what's interesting is he's changed his, because he has like an AR-15, and I think he has about 20 guns, but he changed his thing. Now is like, he's like, look, I have one. If they ever said I had to give it up, so be it. He's like, but I do feel that he's like, Dave, I know guns aren't your thing. He's like, but he's like, I like guns. He's like, they're fun to shoot and all that. He's like, but I feel that private citizens should not have an assault rifle. And he was probably leaning more your way, because he used to be like, no, but he's like, no, he's like, if you really want to shoot one, he's like, you should be able to go to like a gun range, sign it out for the day and use it for that day. He's like, there's no reason that Jimmy Guerrero or anybody needs that. Because listen, if, like you said, that scenario, if someone comes to your house, dudes trying to wreak havoc, you don't, your whatever other guns you have would do the trick. What do you need? What do you need an assault rifle for? What is that really?
There's no such thing as an assault rifle.
Well, what do
no
you?
such thing as an assault rifle.
Okay. Well,
no such thing.
Okay.
It's a rifle.
Okay. Then what do you need a, whatever you want to call it? All these the guns that we see in all these mass shootings, the high powered, right? What do you need that for? What? Explain to me.
Tyranny.
Really?
Tyranny.
Tyranny?
Tyranny.
Okay. So you think tyranny is coming?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I honestly do.
Okay.
Like I said, I believe there's going to be a call to arms.
Okay.
I believe there's going to be a call to arms, Dave.
Okay.
I don't want it.
Yes.
Obviously, I don't. I love our world.
Yes.
I love driving from here to Home Depot with no military checkpoints and
Right.
no one's checking my papers.
Yes.
I love it.
Right.
But but it's for tyranny, man. But this fucking mass flooding
Yes.
that we have coming in here,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, there's not going to be enough room on the government's tit
Yes.
to feed everyone.
Right.
Look at this epidemic we got going on with squatting
Mm.
right now. Have you been hip to any of these squattings?
No.
Dudes are just squatting at houses.
Mm.
So I've been going down the rabbit hole, and and I'm a due diligence nerd, bro.
Yeah.
I'll stay up till 4 a.m,
Mhm.
fucking going down a rabbit hole. And I was watching one a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
In Queens, New York.
Yes.
Not in a land far from us.
Yeah.
Little Italian chick, probably our ages.
Yes.
She goes to her father died.
Yeah.
So her father left the house to her. So he died. They went through the funeral services. So she didn't go to the house like for a week.
Mm.
So like a week later, once she got her head out of her ass a little bit, she goes over there. There's some motherfuckers parlaying up in there.
Mm.
So she calls the cops. Cop shows up. Guy pulls out a bullshit lease. I got a lease. She's like, this is my house.
Mm.
So the cop goes, yeah, you got to take him to court.
Mm.
She goes, what do you mean? This is my house.
Mm.
She shows him the obituary. She goes, yeah, this is my dad.
Mm-hmm.
She goes and changes the locks.
Mm.
She gets arrested
On what grounds?
because she can't change it until she has proved that they're not supposed to be there.
Wow.
So like these two old guys come out, the neighbors,
Yep.
and the old guys are telling the cops, yo, that was her dad's house. It's her house now, bro. We know her since she was a little kid.
Right.
She lives there. That's her crib.
Right.
Lady got arrested, bro.
Mm.
And I was watching another one. This one lady is crying
Yeah.
because she was a widow, got a daughter in college,
Mhm.
and she has a rental property. And that's how she pays for her daughter's college.
Mm.
These guys been juicing her for a year.
Wow.
She can't shut the electricity off, can't shut the water off.
Mm.
So she goes, I'm paying the mortgage, electricity, and water every fucking month, and they haven't given me a dime in a year.
Wow.
Because they're just so.
Mm.
When does the little guy win?
Mm.
I've said it before on the shows that I
Yeah.
know you never heard it.
Yeah.
My dad always said that the little guy is the oil in the motor.
Mm.
And the most dangerous guy
Mhm.
is the little guy that doesn't want nothing to deal with your fuckery.
Mhm.
And you're forcing them to dance
Mm.
to your beat.
Mm.
And that's when you're going to see the ugly out of the little guy.
Mm.
My father goes, the little guy is the one that sweeps the floors and cleans the toilets.
Mhm.
You might not acknowledge him. He might not be nothing in your world, but you want him and you fucking need him
Sure.
because you want a clean toilet and you want a clean floor and you want someone to take out the garbage.
That's right.
So you might not acknowledge him.
Mm-hmm.
You might think he's a fucking peasant,
Right.
but he's the oil in the motor.
Oh, sure.
And my dad always says, and that's what happens when you fuck with this guy and you make him part of your fuckery.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see the ugly side of him
Mm-hmm.
because he's just a guy trying to work a little overtime
Right.
so he could buy steak for the family once a week,
Sure.
or Lord forbid, maybe take the family out once a month
Right.
for,
Mhm.
give the night off, the wife a night off from cooking.
Sure.
But when you fuck with these guys,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to get bad.
Yeah.
It's going to get bad. And
Mhm.
it's, you know what I mean? And it's like my buddies laugh at me, because they say I'm a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go into a mom and pop shop and take out a credit card.
Mm.
You should be hit with a baseball bat,
Mm.
right? 2 blocks away is a mom and pop diner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there 2-3 times a week.
Mm.
I go in there and get a $12 breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
You think I could put that on a plastic?
Why not?
No, don't say that.
I don't.
Dude, to give them a credit card
Yeah.
and have them get hit with a service fee
Hmm.
because I don't got $12
Hmm.
in my fucking pocket, I should be smacked in the face
Hmm.
with a fucking horse's cock.
Okay.
Dude, man, have a heart. They're
Hmm.
trying to make $1.
Okay.
And you going in there with your fucking, because you get and these points on these credit cards,
Hmm.
they're just pimping you.
Hmm.
Some guy taught me this, a
Mhm.
Jewish dude.
Okay.
He said, if you got a $50 bill, right?
Yeah.
Or I got a $50 bill.
Yeah.
I give it to my wife.
Yeah.
My wife gives it to her hairdresser.
Yeah.
She goes to the butcher shop and buys steaks for the family.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, her hairdresser got the 50. The butcher got the 50.
Yeah.
The grocer got the 50.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But if I take this 50
Mm-hmm.
and she puts it, and I put it in my account,
Yeah.
right? When you go do a transaction,
Mm-hmm.
they whack you right to 2.5 and they whack the merchant to 2.5.
Okay.
So in about 25, 30 transactions, that $50 has all been consumed by the bank. It's gone, Dave. It's gone.
Wow.
Why do you think Biden signed the electro currency? Because they want to know every dollar you got. So when it's your fucking godson's fucking birthday and you want to fucking throw him $100, gotta do it now, all on the up and up. These cats don't want you to have $5 at home. So like I get mad at my friends when we go to a pizzeria and these cats want to, oh, whose card is it gonna go on?
Right.
Dude, I want to smack somebody. Dude, how am I gonna go to a pizzeria, pay $20 on a pie and give them? You're not man enough to carry $20.
Right. Right.
Oh my God, do you think Apple Pay?
Right.
You're a fag, dude. You're a fag. You don't got $20 in your pocket. If your kid wants a fucking ice cream, your kid wants a fucking donut, you go somewhere.
Right.
Oh, here's the credit card. You killing local merchants, bro. What you know what I mean?
I didn't know.
You know,
that.
oh my God, I'm gonna get points. You're gonna get points. Your wife ain't letting you go nowhere anyways, punk.
Right.
Shut up. But yeah, man, and that's what's killing the American dollar. It's this bullshit with the cards. Because nobody carries. I go to dinner sometimes with a friend of mine, and she's listening, so I know she's gonna laugh. So I'll get a text from her in a little bit. So every time, you know, and she's a federal agent.
Okay.
And you know, we go to eat, and you know, and she always goes, "You're a fucking drug dealer. You always have cash on you." I go, "No, because I'm a man. I'm a man." I go to eat with one of my instructors one day. He's 30-year-old officer.
Yeah.
We call him on the show Incognito.
Yeah.
And we in Incognito go to breakfast one morning. So you know, I grab the check and I go, "Tip her." He goes, "I don't have any cash." What did you say to me? Because I don't have any cash. So I threw the check in front of him and it dropped fucking $10. And I go, "Now you pay the check." And the waitress just laughed. I go, "Dude, how do you walk out of the house with no cash?" He goes, "I don't know. I got credit card on me." I go, look how crazy people get, Dave, when the power goes out. What would happen if the power went out and your wife goes to the market and there's a sign that says cash only? I tell everybody, you should have $5,000 at the crib all the time. $5,000 cash. Just like I tell people, you should have a bunch of ammunition at the house. But if you don't got cash at the house, it's okay. So let's just say our infrastructure gets attacked one day.
Right.
And no money at the ATMs. Oh my God. Well, guess what? Fuck you and your 800 credit score.
Right.
You got no money.
Right. That's true.
I tell everybody, if you don't got any cash at the house, man, I keep a stash at the crib. I got to keep a stash at the crib.
Sure.
Why? Because cash is going to be king if anything ever goes south. And you're going to need some ammo to protect the homestead.
Okay.
But like I said, you know, yeah. People, don't kill your mom and pop merchants, man. Don't kill your mom and pop merchants. Give them a little cash. Let that cat live. But you know why I use cash when I go to mom and pop merchants, Dave?
Why is that?
Because when I pay a mom and pop in cash, you know, because I'm against big corporations.
Okay.
I'm prejudiced, racist, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
But when I go to a small guy and I pay, when I pay in cash, you know what I see?
What's that?
I'm paying for his kids' guitar lessons, for his daughter's fucking tap lessons. You know, his daughter's going to soccer camp in the summer. His fucking son's taking drum lessons. So I know my cash is going to another instructor.
Right.
I'm cool with that.
Right. But when you say you're against like the corporate, well, then how can you be pro-Trump? We've never had a more corporate helping out the top 1% than that dude.
But he's a businessman. And my 401k, since he came around, was looking dope. My retirement, dope.
Mine's looking dope.
And look at right.
Biden,
but nobody was talking shit about Trump when the gas prices were where they were at, right?
Mm.
Nobody was, like you said, until it affects me, nobody wants to holler.
Right.
So like I said, so wherever I can,
Yeah.
I like to help a small guy out.
Gotcha.
And that's why I said, you know what I mean? I try to get shit from small guys.
Yes.
And like I said, I try to give them cash because you know what, man, fucking that's helping his daughter take horse riding lessons. I don't care.
Right.
But I just feel that, I'm being a human about it.
Mm.
And that guy's a 9-to-5er and he's just trying to get ahead too, man.
Sure.
And that's how I look at it, man. I was like, stop taking that plastic out because these banks, man, they're trying to put us in a stranglehold.
Mm-hmm.
They just you know what I mean? Look at the credit game. That shit's a racket, right? You don't use it, they fuck you, right or wrong.
No, you're right. You're right.
My last Harley I bought, they gave me a 60-month loan. Okay, I paid it off in 10 months. They hit me 25 points on my credit.
Why?
Because I closed the account premature. So I get an alert on my credit.
Right.
So I call up, Harley Financing.
Right.
I give them the account number, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, y'all just hit me 25 points.
Right.
I'm like, can you elaborate?
Right.
And then, the girl's like, yeah, because you closed it down way too early. She's like, you had a 60-month loan with us. You closed it down in 10 months. She goes, yeah.
Wow.
I go, so you guys hit me 25 points on my credit.
Damn.
I'm like, that's some gangster shit. I told her that's some gangster shit. I said, I pay you back early. Dave, if I owed you money and I paid you back quick, would you be mad at me?
Hell no.
You'd be like, yo, don't pay me back quick. No, everybody be like, hey, thanks.
Right.
But yeah, she's like, oh, you paid the account back. So I'm like, yo, man. So yeah, they hit me for 25 points. And, it took me a little while to get it back.
Right.
Because I guess my buddy explained it to me. Does mortgages? He goes, yeah, it's 25 points, but it's not really a negative remark. It's not like, you were late or you didn't pay somebody.
Right.
He goes, but somebody would have to read it. But I'm like, that credit shit's a racket, bro. Racket. But yeah, man.
Yeah, but I hear you about, the, tyranny and stuff coming. But like I said, I think it's coming because of Trump, because when you have someone who's questioning the whole democratic process and putting in the minds of weak-minded people, most people.
You don't think the Democratic Party has pimped out our communities for the last 60 years?
I think they all have. Both parties have. Both parties.
No, I think we've been pimped by our party just because they want to treat us like cookie crumbs. They want to give us cookie crumbs.
Right.
And unfortunately, these bum ass cats are happy with crumbs. Because why does the ghetto stay the ghetto? Because all they want to do is get by. They don't want to do better. They just want to get by today.
No, you're right.
So guess what? It's like, it's like what Eddie Murphy said, in what was it? I think it was in Raw. When he said, you hungry, anything's good. He's like, these rich crackers, these are the best crackers I ever had. Right? And that, so, what they say, when you're hungry, anything tastes good.
That's right.
You're hungry, man, freaking bologna tastes like steak.
This is true.
So I just think that the Democratic Party has pimped our communities out so damn hard. And we keep on, man. I don't need an Obama phone, brother. I got a phone.
Right.
I go to work. I'm not looking for the handout.
Right.
I got into a little tis with some over freaking white she just felt bad because she was white. So, oh my God, the black community, Latino community, where they're living. And I told her, I said, what do you mean where they're living? Oh, well, look at the north end of Hartford. I go, yeah. I said, I've been to Lowe's and Home Depot a million times. You ever seen any vital siding that came already graffitied? Have you ever seen it? No. You ever seen any bricks that came graffitied already?
Right.
No.
Right.
I go, well, who fucked up the neighborhood?
Right.
They did.
Yeah.
And I said, you want to have no pride in your community.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you want to?
Right.
It's like taking a shit on your front porch.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to clean it up?
Right.
You don't have a landlord. Well, I guess you got to clean it up,
Mm-hmm.
or don't shit on your front porch.
Sure.
And like I said, man, I don't think our communities will ever heal because they keep ripping the Band-Aid off. What do you think about that statement, Dave?
No, I agree with that. I mean, that's why I've heard. I had one friend of mine who's made a cry out for like a third party because he doesn't feel either party has done right for black, brown, white, basically everybody. So I've heard that statement as well about, the crying out for a third party. And I agree with you that, because I've heard like a bunch of, black rappers like T.I. and a few other dudes who have said that, the Dems haven't done right in the inner cities. And I agree with that too. But I still think that the other guy, Trump, that he definitely isn't doing nothing for black and brown people. And, I think that when you talk about worrying about a civil war and tyranny, it's coming because when you look at January 6th, that to me is...
That was a sample of it?
Exactly, because guess what? He's already said, I mean, how messed up is it to have someone say, all these years we've had elections, no election's perfect, but all of a sudden, the one time he runs, and because he didn't win, it was it was rigged.
But the problem was on TV, you look at his rallies, they were packed. You look at Biden's, I get more people at my fucking happy hours.
Oh, no,
there was nobody there. You're like, how does Cat win?
Yeah.
How the fuck he pulled this landslide off? I'm like, bro, you look at his shit, it looked like a fucking pep rally at a high school. There was no one there. You're like, how does motherfucker win?
No, you're right. Because the whole, the one thing I'll say about Biden, or one thing I'll say about Trump, if I'm going to give him any props, is he's an inspirational dude. I'll give him that. Why? I'll never get. I don't get why. Like I said, I get it.
Well, he's definitely not polished like Obama. No. Obama was a polished fucking dude.
He was polished, but the one thing that both Trump and Obama have in common is that they are inspirational in terms of they know how to rally people. Biden doesn't have that. Never did, never will.
No, he like playing chicken. That motherfucker's playing chicken.
Yeah, no,
he's like boiled chicken.
Yeah, no, he don't.
And that dude is
he's
boiled chicken.
He don't have that. But then we got this dude saying, again, if I lose, it's going to be rigged. And guess what? You might have another January 6th because you got somebody. I mean, what is that teaching our kids in the next generation, that when you were growing up and you had a dude in the neighborhood that anytime he lost said, oh, it's because you guys cheated. What did you do to that dude? You never got down with that dude. When that dude became an adult and anytime he wasn't good at something, he made excuses. You're like, I ain't getting down. That dude is a punk or whatever. That's this guy. This guy, he wants to blame everybody.
Now that guy's HR's pet at work. HR's pet. I don't work for nobody. I know you can't comment. I don't work for nobody, so I give a fuck about HR.
I get it.
I'm anti-HR.
I understand. But people forget. I was telling somebody, I was at the gym, and this dude, big time Trumpster, and I had to tell him. He's like, everybody should have to vote in person. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, all right. I said, you do realize that back in the day, black and brown and poor white people used to be able to vote on Sundays. He's like, I didn't know that. Yeah. And guess what? It's real easy when you live in Glastonbury, Connecticut. You can go right to the local elementary school and be in and out in 10 minutes. What about your black and brown people down in Georgia, and that school that you used to be able to vote in person? No, they you don't have that anymore. Now you got to drive 30 miles, stand in line for 4 hours. This dude, he didn't know that. I say, Yeah. So when people say you should have to vote in person, yeah, that'd be cool if you made it, good, or where people could vote and be in and out, but they've made it more difficult. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say you should have to vote in person, but then when you try to vote in person, you make it more difficult than you did. So, and then people forget. Have you ever heard of the guy Chris Krebs? You ever heard of him? Yeah. So Chris Krebs was hired by Trump, lifelong Republican. He said, I'm putting you in charge of cybersecurity. You're in charge of making sure the election is fair and equal. Okay. All of a sudden, the last election, when Trump lost, he goes to Krebs. Krebs said this was the safest, most accurate election in the history of modern elections. You know what Trump did to him? Fired him.
I'll look into that.
Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like, and people forget when Hillary lost to Trump talks about, oh, how did I get screwed in this state and this state? Hillary lost by tighter margins in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, all those battleground states. She lost by tighter margins than Trump. What did she do when she lost? She put her big girl pants on, called him up, and said, I'm sure she hated doing it. She said, "Congratulations, you won." What happens when it was this dude's turn to? I know he was pissed off. He feels he got jerked, but he couldn't even man up. First time in modern day history, he couldn't even man up and say, "You know what? I'm mad I lost. Okay, Joe, good luck to you." Couldn't even do that. What type of man, like you talking about, like men? What type of man can't own up that he lost?
He's him, man. He's him. He's not polished. Once again, he's not polished. Dude.
No.
He's a businessman.
No. That it's not polished. It's called manning up. This is the same dude when John McCain freaking was tortured. Could have gotten out of Vietnam 2 years early. The Viet Cong said, "Yep, you can go." You know what John McCain said? Nah,
that's a beast.
I ain't leaving till you free the rest of my boys.
He's a monster.
Okay,
McCain's a monster.
Okay.
I will that right there. I'll rock with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll rock with you on that one because McCain's.
That's right.
He's
and he said, "My heroes don't get." And what about one of my heroes, John Lewis? John Lewis got his head bashed in marching. During the Martin Luther King years when he died. They asked Trump when he was president, "Oh, are you going to, here it is right in D.C." It wasn't like he had to fly down to Atlanta or Alabama. "Oh, are you going to go to the pay your respects?" No. But really, dude that marched with Martin Luther King just because he was a different political party and might have said some stuff against you, you can't man up and he can't do that.
A lot of things I'll say. He's his worst own enemy.
That's what
like
I'm
saying. Said, you know what I mean? He's like I said, he's not polished.
Right.
But like I said, man, me myself, I look at it in kids, right?
Yes.
Do kids want a hard parent or a soft parent?
What
does a kid want?
Kid wants a soft parent, so they can get away with stuff.
Exactly, man.
Right.
And I think like this, our population now is acting soft.
Yes.
Like, because you don't know that a hard parent is really the shit until later.
That's right.
When you start thriving and you go, wow.
Or until you become a parent.
Or like I said, until you see that, damn, I got it going on.
Yes.
Why do you got it going on?
Right.
Damn. Because my parents put their foot in my ass.
Yes.
And they didn't allow me to be a this or that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's why I think, like I said, everybody wants to like a dude. Everybody wants to like a dude. And when you're likable, how many likable dudes at work you see move ahead because they're likable, but they're fucking dumb as fuck?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes or no?
No, you're right.
And that's where I think he steps on his cock.
Right.
And but do I think he's the guy for the job? 8 days a week.
Come on,
like 8 days a week, bro.
JG.
8 days a
Come
week.
on, brother.
I ain't flexing.
Come on.
So
that
myself,
dude
I don't have to like.
He would step over you in a heartbeat.
I don't. You know what I mean? I don't have to like somebody. I don't. And I tell people, I say, I don't gotta like somebody, but I gotta look at your purpose. I gotta look at your aim and your focus. And that's why I tell people, you know what I mean? I go, I'm not for everybody.
Right.
I know that. You know, I'm not for everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I tell people, you know, yeah, I'm black and white. I go,
Yeah.
bitch, I don't even own a gray shirt.
Right.
I don't own no gray in my wardrobe, son. I don't own, you know, I said,
Right.
yeah, I'm a black and white dude.
Yes.
I'm not emotional, I'm functional.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's why I don't got a lot of friends.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? You know, and but that's just it, man. And like I said, you know, all we can do is hope for our best,
Mhm.
and hopefully, you know, it goes somewhere, and we'll see where it goes. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, what did Martin Luther King say? We all came here from different places, but we're in the same boat.
Mm. True.
You know, he said it.
Yeah.
You know, that's it, man. But you know, anything in closing, Dave? Dave, quick question, Dave.
Yes,
Hold on, sorry.
yes.
This is 1953 phone booth that I
Wow.
restored.
Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah, you know.
I remember those. I remember the old. Well, maybe not the phone booths. I remember like the pay phones.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I seen a pay phone was like in a movie when dudes were getting shot up and
You
like one of
can't hit in
mob
there,
movies.
so-
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we like to ask everybody that
Yeah.
comes on the show.
Uh,
As we call it, the magical, you know,
Yes.
pay phone.
yes.
If you could go in there and pick up the phone
Mm-hmm.
and talk to 20-year-old Dave Peniston,
Mm-hmm.
what would you tell him? Take a second. This ain't no.
Sure.
This ain't no bum rush.
Yeah. I would probably tell a 20-year-old Dave Peniston to, you know, that anything is possible in life if you work hard. You know, a lot of times people say that, you know, but that's probably what I would tell myself, that don't get down, you know, that, you know, I really do believe, I mean, do I think that there's racism in this country? Of course I do. But do I feel that if you work hard, black, white, Latino, Asian, whatever, that you can.
You won't let it. You won't let it own you.
That's right.
That's
right.
right.
That's right. Yeah.
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 I feel it's there, but I go, well, I let it dictate my every move.
Right.
Hell no, because then it owns you.
That's right. That's right.
Then it owns you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you know, I got a friend of mine, and she laughs because I always tell her, I said, you know, I don't really. I said, you know, I went to school in Ohio, and
Mhm.
and you know, you get pulled over by a cop. You know, this is 1991, and
Mhm.
they call you boy.
Right.
And you know, you went to the supermarket, you know,
Mhm.
boy. And I went to school in Cleveland, and like
You did?
yeah,
Where'd you go?
in Cleveland, Ohio.
Really?
Yeah, and
I was
right
in,
at
I was in Ohio.
okay, and right at the corner of our dormitory
Yeah.
was a billboard with Billy D. Williams holding a Colt 45, and like you know, and they had billboards for Newports with black people, and it was predominantly Cleveland, Ohio, predominantly black.
Yeah.
And it was so weird because you know I'm 18 years old, just getting out there and
Yep.
shit, and
Was you at like Cleveland State?
yeah,
Okay.
and I went to tech school. I went to tech school out there.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why, but I don't mind racism if it's in my face.
Yes.
If you're upfront about it,
Right.
I'm like, ask the motherfucker, keeping it real.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like the you know behind your back shit
Oh yeah.
because then you're a coward to me.
That's right.
But like if you're an upfront dude and you know and then you tell me that's how you feel, cool. And you know, and a friend of mine, she goes, I can't believe you say that. And
Mhm.
you know, and I go, dude, I said, I don't respect what you think, but I'm respecting you because you keep it at 100.
Oh yeah. Well,
You keep it at 100, and you know, you ain't hiding that, yo, you know, I don't like you because of this, that, and the
oh,
third.
yeah.
And you know, I gotta give you that.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless, I don't like you, but
That's
I gotta
right.
give it to you because I know how to take you.
Yes.
It's like working with somebody who's hot and cold,
Right.
bipolar.
That's right.
That's the worst to me. I
That's
can't
right.
deal with bipolar.
Yeah.
Guys or girls in my life,
Right.
I can't deal with hot and cold.
Yes.
You know, if you a jerk, be a jerk every day.
That's right. Well, I couldn't agree with you more because when I was going to school in Ohio, I was at Ohio University before I transferred back east. And there was this white dude, and he was from the Cleveland suburbs. And all of a sudden I saw him wearing like a Celtics shirt, and I was like, "Why aren't you a Cavaliers?" He's like, "No, I like the Celtics." And I was like, "Why do you like the Celtics?" He's like, "Because at that time during the late '80s, remember the NBA was about 70% black.
That's
The
what-
Celtics were 70%.
And the Cavs were on fire then with
Brad Dowdy
Hot Rod.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And that's when
Mhm.
the Cavaliers, had big man there, the refrigerator Perry, right? Then they had the refrigerator Perry.
No, he was with the Bears.
Bears, he was with Bears.
Yeah.
Like I remember going to the flats,
Oh, yeah.
and you would see them guys down at the flats.
Mhm.
It's so funny about that because who did me and my roommates ended up hanging out with all the time? Bobby Bonilla.
Ah.
Because Bobby
Yeah, he's from
Bonilla,
the Bronx, right?
yeah, he's Dominican.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So two of the dudes in my dorm were Dominican.
Okay.
So we're down we're down at the flats one night,
Yeah.
and my boy's like, "Yo, that's Bobby Bonilla,"
Huh.
and he was like the only Spanish dude at the time.
Check that out.
So, dude, next thing you know, Bobby Bonilla's coming to the dorm, picking us up in his Mercedes.
Ah.
Dude, we're going to parties with Bobby Bonilla,
Wow. Huh.
and that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And he's a baller, and we're
Oh,
18-year-old punk kids,
Oh,
bro.
yeah. Yeah.
And dude, we're going to places, and we're with Bobby.
Mhm.
And yeah, man,
Yeah.
Hot Rod, you had Hot Rod, you had
Mhm.
the whole. I remember you could see those guys at the flats on a
Oh,
Friday,
yeah.
Saturday night
Yep.
as shooters and
Mhm.
rum runners,
Okay.
all them down there, man.
But I bring up that dude along the lines what you said about keeping it real, because this dude, when I asked him why were you a Celtic fan, he said because they have the most white dudes in the league. Now most people was like, man, that's a racist. But see, I respected him because what I used to hate is when I would meet white dudes and they'd say, "Oh, I'm a Celtic fan." And I'm like, "Why?" "Oh, because they pass the ball." I'm like, brothers can pass the ball, but they would cam about this dude. He told me straight up. He's like, I like the Celtics because they have more white dudes. And a lot of people are like, how could you speak to that dude? That was I'm like, nah, he's keeping it real. He's telling me, like, my dad, call him racist. My dad was, for all intents and purposes, was more white than black. He considered himself black, and my grandfather was pretty much white.
My dad was Archie Bunker with a tan.
Yeah, and so was my dad. My dad would root for teams that had the most brothers on it because that's why my dad was a Kansas City Chiefs fan because they started the first black middle linebacker.
You ever see that movie with Ed Norton, 48 Hours? You know who Ed Norton is, right? Yeah, check out that movie.
Okay.
There's a part in it that he goes on a racial rant. And he's in New York City.
Okay.
So he goes off on it. Remember like the racial rant and Do the Right Thing?
Yes.
Remember when he hits the blacks, the Puerto Ricans,
Yes.
the Asians?
Yes.
So Ed Norton goes on a racial rant on that.
Okay.
And the black part of the racial rant is he goes, and this is for the Uptown brothers that won't pass the fucking ball and blame everything on the white man. I'll send it to you later tonight on YouTube. But yeah, so I always take that clip and send it to my buddy because it said this is for the Uptown brothers that won't pass the fucking ball and blame everything on the white man. But yeah, he goes on a great racial tirade, just like if he could do the right thing.
Yeah, but I'm with you about keeping it real because there's this dude in town who I'll leave nameless, obviously. And big time Trumpster, and he kept on putting stuff on Facebook, kept on sending me stuff, and I said, and I'm the type, you want to talk to me, let's meet man up. And he thought I was trying to challenge him. I said, I'm not looking to fight you. I said, let's just meet. And we met right in the center of town in Glastonbury, and he was afraid to say why he was a Trumpster. And I said, say how you feel. And he said, you know why I like Trump? He's like, because he makes me proud as a white man. And a lot of people are like, wow, I can't believe. I said, nah. I said, I shook the dude's hand. People are like, why would you? I said, because you know why?
He said it.
He said it, and he kept it real, and he spoke from the heart. If that's how you feel, I'm okay with that. I'd rather somebody tell me what it may come out racist, whatever, but I'd rather someone say what's in their heart and how they feel than somebody that just, I like this, whatever. He went right how he felt.
In the words of Digital Underground, do what you like.
That's right.
Yes. Fantastic.
Yes.
So that's what you would tell the 20-year-old Dave.
That's what I
just
tell
fucking
20-year-old
keep
Dave.
trucking.
Just keep trucking. you know, and
Peace out to Chris Christopherson. We lost a great one this week.
oh,
You guys see that? Yeah, we lost the rubber duck this week.
oh man, we lost a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Matumbo.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
He was a pleasure to watch play.
Oh yeah. Great humanitarian.
Yep.
Too.
Yeah, we lost a teammate this week. That sucked, man.
Yeah, there were a couple other people.
He was a class act too, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was a class act.
Yeah, I think he helped build a hospital in Africa.
Yeah.
Or something. I know Barkley said he was the greatest dude he's ever met.
Oof.
You know,
that's damn. That's he and Barkley. He does talk this shit on everybody.
Oh yeah.
Akime was a class act, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just we lost Chris Christopherson this week.
Mm-hmm.
Barkley, man, and that's just
Yeah.
you know we lost somebody else. I forgot. We lost a third one this week.
Yeah, there was some other celebrity. I can't remember.
Yeah, we lost somebody else, but yeah, man. Ugly circle of life, you know, ugly circle of life. You know what I mean? It was just, you know, it's just crazy because somebody was saying how old Puff Daddy is, and I go, Jesus, because you know he been in our face for how long now?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're just like, damn, he's been around that long.
Yeah.
Jesus. You know, that's just not. It's ugly stuff.
I know.
Well, Dave, let me thank you for taking time out of your Saturday.
Yeah, thanks for having
coming
me.
over to the show.
Yeah,
you know,
great to see you after all these years.
Yes, man, it's definitely been too long.
Gladly come back.
Yeah, man, it was a great combo.
Yeah,
and like I said, people from the other side don't usually like to come on.
Yeah,
because they're just more comfortable, on the keyboard.
Sure.
And and like I said, I've had borderline stalk motherfuckers. And and I'm like, yo, if you don't want to come on, motherfucker, keep it real. Tell me to pound sand.
Yeah.
Tell me to fucking pop a wheelie and I'll stop. But don't keep on telling me, I'll look at my calendar. I'll look at my calendar.
Get back to you.
I'm like, dude, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, make it happen.
Motherfucker, you don't want to go, you don't want to do it. Just say, yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
You ain't my flavor. Beat it. Beat it.
As you sent me the message, because I like that. The one thing that I've always told my kids, I've always told them, don't ever be afraid to talk to somebody.
Be open.
Exactly. It don't matter if a person could be an older white person or a person from another party or different. The only way you learn in life is a lot of people just want to talk with people that think.
Well, because like minds always flock together.
That's right. But you don't learn anything.
You know what I mean?
Just being here with you, I learned some stuff.
Yeah,
I learned stuff
about
with the credit card stuff. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of other things.
You know what I mean? And that's what the hell? So, one guy one time says he says, damn it, oh man, it's gonna kill me, and I'm gonna have to send it to you later. And it was pretty much what he said. He goes, I teach subordinates and I speak to equals. I was like, shit. Deep. I was like, damn.
That is deep.
Yeah, I got to look it up. I'll have to research who said it. But yeah, guy said that. He goes, I teach subordinates, but he goes, but I speak to equals.
Wow.
I was like, damn. Sounds kind of dicky, sounds kind of arrogant, but it's deep though.
That's real deep.
And I was like, I like that. And like I said, always up for a freaking exchange with someone with a brain. I tell people, if you got a brain and a heart, I'll talk to you.
I hear you.
And and like I said, we doing the podcast here for a couple of years now.
Okay.
And we've had great guests, man, and I love doing this shit. And,
this is awesome.
And, I get hate mail for what I get hate mail, but that shit, I love the hater rate.
I hear you.
I sip it. I inject it at night. I mainline that shit.
Oh yeah.
I put in the IV and it just drips into me. I love the hater rate. Fuck these cats. Fuck these cats. Motherfuckers get online and talk shit. Their wife been burning their dinner for 25 years and he still ain't got enough balls to tell him she puts too much salt on shit. And then motherfucker wants to get on and get hard with JG. You won't tell your wife her cooking sucks, but you want to talk shit to me? Motherfucker, you picked the wrong fight.
Right.
Go tell your wife that she keeps overcooking them steaks you buy.
Right.
Don't get tough with me, bitch.
Right.
Motherfuckers, I hate that. But once again, thank you for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me, JG. Good catching up after all these years.
Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking the ride with us tonight on a nice, cool Saturday night and this installation of Highly Unoffended. Once again, let's always try to be better people to each other. Good night, America. Wherever you are, take care of each other.
Peace. Mm.